Hello and welcome to Episode 2, The World, questioning the legality and transparency of Joe Biden's important executive documents being signed by Autopen, while he's in a mental cognitive decline. This is Episode 2. Nice to have you joining us today. We will be happy to hear your input. Let's dive into our analysis of today. The allegations. Have the use of Autopen been abused by enabling the alleged of corruption and the Whitehouse link to Ukraine Burisma Scandal? We are here to find out together. The allegations in question. 1. Whistleblower claims an Autopen abuse. According to former DOJ pardon attorney, Ed Martin, a whistleblower has come forward alleging that a tight circle of Joe Biden's aides, including Ron Klain, Anita Dunn, and Bob Bauer, controlled Autopen access and were allegedly profiting from it, raising concerns about legality and transparency. We have investigated sources such as Forbes, RPW Media, Deep News. The claim has led the DOJ to review Biden's pardons, especially the mass pardons issued on January 19, 2025, just before the presidential transition, that reportedly all bore the same mechanical signature. 2. Neera Tanden's congressional testimony. Neera Tanden, former head of the Domestic Policy Council, testified under oath on June 25, 2025, that she directed Autopen signatures for multiple executive documents, but was unaware who authorized them. She described a shadowy process with unclear decision-making about signing authority. 3. The Politburo Inner Circle. Journalists Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson, in their book Original Sin, published May 20, 2025, describe a small group of senior advisors, dubbed the Politburo, who reportedly ran key decisions behind the scenes as Biden's effectiveness declined. Members of this small group included Ron Klain, Mike Donilon, Steve Ricchetti, Bruce Reed, and Annie Tomasini, along with powerful figures like Jill Biden, Anthony Benol, and Anita Dunn. This inner circle is accused of suppressing concerns about Biden's cognitive decline, insulating him from the cabinet and the public, and effectively managing the presidency during periods when he may have been disengaged. 4. Cover-up or delusion. Author Chris Whipple, in Uncharted, April 2025, paints the Biden team as living in a fog of denial, convinced Biden was still capable despite mounting signs of cognitive difficulty. He notes that aides like Ron Klain had memory lapses themselves, yet believed Biden could still govern. Whipple rejects the more extreme theory that the administration was entirely run by a cabal, calling the idea silly, but emphasizes the dangerous internal denial and lack of transparency throughout the final campaign season. 5. Recent testimony from the Inner Circle. On July 31, 2025, Mike Donilon, a longtime advisor, testified before the House Oversight Committee. He said Democrats overreacted to Biden's poor debate performance and denied involvement in any Autopen controversy, claiming he had no knowledge of it. He stressed his belief that Biden remained engaged and effective throughout his term. What's at stake? Frontline Macroanalysis TV has dived deep into the issue at hand to help you understand the consequences of abuse of Autopen. We have broken down key points from the whistleblower. A central allegation: a whistleblower claims Biden's inner advisors controlled, and potentially profited from, access to an Autopen machine that executed official decisions when the president may have lacked capacity. A key book, Original Sin, May 2025, portrays an inner circle running the administration amid declining presidential control. A congressional investigations, House Republicans, led by Chairman James Comer, are actively probing this alleged cover-up and questioning senior aides about Autopen usage and Biden's fitness. A broader implications. If proven, it could raise constitutional concerns over executive legitimacy and transparency in government. From what has been said by the whistleblower, was there a bombshell confession? While no direct confession has been publicly acknowledged by these figures, the term bombshell likely refers to 1. The whistleblower with alleged insider knowledge asserting wrongdoing. 2. Neera Tanden's admission that she signed documents without knowing who cleared them. 3. The extensive depiction in Original Sin, which asserts that aides knowingly concealed Biden's decline and exerted decision-making authority. Therefore, we at the Frontline Macroanalysis TV realize that the bottom line is: if the scandal centers around the alleged misuse of an Autopen machine and whether critical presidential actions were taken without Biden's direct approval. If there's no explicit admission or confession by those involved, but a series of whistleblower claims, authorized testimony, and investigative books strongly suggest internal dysfunction, secrecy, and possible overreach. Henceforth, the question on legitimacy of executive documents signed by Autopen by Joe Biden as president should be voided. Their investigations and testimonies are ongoing, including appearances by Neera Tanden, Kevin O'Connor, Anita Dunn, Bruce Reed, and Ron Klain. Their answers could deepen or diffuse the controversy. However, based on the scandals around the Ukraine issue, no one can deny that a lot has happened that resulted in political and international scandals. For example, at its core, the claim that Vice President Joe Biden withheld a $1 billion loan guarantee from Ukraine in 2015 to 2016 to force the firing of Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin, allegedly so he could protect his son Hunter Biden's position on the Burisma board or receive a bribe in return. They claim that such narrative has been thoroughly debunked by fact-checkers and in bipartisan reviews. Joe Biden's actions aligned with US, EU, IMF policy calling for Shokin's removal due to corruption and ineffectiveness and not to shield Burisma or his son. Here we ask you a simple question: who were the fact-checkers or their bipartisan reviewers? Were they interested in uncovering the truth or covering their crimes? To understand who PolitiFact, factcheck.org, USA Today is first step to debunking the so-called facts. Forget about the fact checks because there is no such thing. For example, among the donors to factcheck.org is Walter Hubert Annenberg, who was a publisher, editor, diplomat, and philanthropist. After assuming control of his father's company, Triangle Publications, he went on to create a veritable media empire that included 17 magazines and TV Guide. We are talking about the same TVs that you know have been spreading propaganda and pushing for a leftist and globalism agenda. Annenberg sold Triangle Publications to News Corporation, Rupert Murdoch's holding company, in 1988 for $3.2 billion to $2 billion more than its estimated value. You can already guess where all this analysis is heading, right? When we talk about corruption and governments such as US and Australia controlling individuals in the world, it's Rupert Murdoch. That is not all. Wallace Annenberg, a lesbian philanthropist who did so much for the LGBTQ+ community. Many praised her work for LGBTQ+ and AIDS organizations. The extraordinary generosity of Wallace Annenberg and the Annenberg Foundation sends a message of reassurance to elder gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people with lower incomes that they will not be forgotten. Rocam quoted gay and lesbian elder housing executive director Brian Niemark as saying, "These are the type of people behind fact-checkers organizations. These people are corrupt, greedy corporations, globalists, Phils, and alphabet people who have been upfront destroying real families and derailing every norm of decent society all over the world. The real question is, are these organizations set out to fact-check and bring out the truth, or are they there to censor every content they do not like, not agree with, or to cover up their true agenda behind the fake smiles and propaganda?" The other fact-checker is USA Today, owned by Gannett Company, Inc. Gannett is self-proclaimed to dislike sensationalism. So his media played down crime and scandal, and rejected advertising for liquor. A conservative Republican, he was active in state and national politics. But Frontline Macroanalysis TV, We have uncovered the real forces behind every decision, and these are powerful major shareholders to the conglomerate. Be warned, you are not going to like the names we have discovered behind fact-check organization. These are names that have been through your ear many times on corruption, global economic policies, billions, even trillions of fund scandals, IMF policies, etc. These are Apollo Management Holdings, LP, Alta Fundamental Advisors LLC, BlackRock Incorporated, Vanguard Group Inc., Philosophy Capital Management LLC, D. Shaw & Company, Int., Cooperman Leon G., Dimensional Fund Advisors LP, VTSMX, Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund Investor Shares, and IWM, iShares. Those are the names behind what you get to hear as facts. You did not know, but now you do know, so what are you going to do? Simply put, they decide what truth should be and not what the actual truth is. These are the same people who fact-checked and approved information on C19 in 2019 today was real and true. Who convinced you that vaccines were safe and effective? Do you trust their assessment of what is fact or false? They convinced you based on their assessment and in their own interests. You are probably wondering how? Well, it is like this. Hedge funds don't have many shares in Pfizer. The Vanguard Group Incorporated is currently the company's largest shareholder with 9.1% of shares outstanding. BlackRock Incorporated is the second largest shareholder, owning 7.7% of common stock, and State Street Global Advisors Incorporated, their first criteria on checking facts is in their interests. They are the top shareholders. Same stakeholders behind your facts are the people who have been convincing you that you need to pump more money into Ukraine. Why is that? An agreement with BlackRock Financial Market Advisory on providing support services to the Ukraine Development Fund was achieved at the highest state level. On the 5th of May, 2023, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky held a meeting with the management of BlackRock, the largest asset management company in the world. Fact-checkers say they have debunked the lies, but in most cases what we have uncovered is that fact-checkers have hidden the damning truth. An FBI informant, Alexander Smirnov, claimed Burisma paid both Biden's $5 million in bribes. He later was charged by federal prosecutors when they brutally accused him of fabricating the allegations, and later was coerced to pleading guilty to making false statements, severely undermining the original claims. You and I did not know what was happening behind closed doors. However, from what we can see so far, if the Autopen was being used by any other persons, then it is hard to know who was signing off some orders to coerce any whistleblower at the time. And now that we have explained to you who the fact-checkers are, and who the donors are, and whom they sit at the table with, surely you can agree with us that when they say debunked, it simply means truth is sealed and secured away from the public. Therefore, what is our final point of view on this analysis? The fact-checkers, in an attempt to hide the truth, say: 1. The widely circulated theory accusing Joe Biden of abusing power to protect his son has been consistently debunked by independent fact-checkers and legal inquiries. 2. Emerging documents show that Hunter Biden used his family name for business advancement, stirring renewed scrutiny, but no evidence has tied Joe Biden personally to any wrongdoing. 3. The controversy centers largely on appearance of conflict, not criminal conduct by Joe Biden himself. We at Frontline Macroanalysis TV say, they are attempting to hide the truth behind the pretense of fact checks. Henceforth, this is where we stand now. 1. Hunter's role at Burisma, and the extent of influence or benefit from family connections, remains ethically suspicious. 2. Joe Biden's official actions are viewed by most experts as consistent with international anti-corruption efforts during his vice presidency. We view it as part of any quid pro quo scheme. It is evident that while he was unfit to run the office, the people around him who he entrusted with most sensitive role of the government, the United States, was using the action of Autopen to sign off serious matters in which damages are still yet to be determined at this point. The merit of raised questions about Joe Biden's mental capacity to run the president's office while president should seriously be investigated. The controversial question that remains unanswered is this: while Autopen could be legally acceptable, in Joe Biden's case, Was it used legally by someone who is authorized to do so and without being under the influence of someone else? Let me leave that with you. We would like to hear your thoughts in the comments section. This was episode 2. I'll drop the microphone, subscribe and share. One episode at a time, we will awake everyone. Ask yourself, what kind of legacy I want to leave behind? Do you want to leave this world and have people think that we didn't care about anything, or did we make a small contribution to making the world a little better at the end of our life? That was said by Ernst Wolf and recited again by our editor Stephen Nico. A disclaimer: all the said content is freely available online. Your stuff is purely research simplified. Until next episode, bye bye.